Hi dear students, dear friends, welcome to Gallant IAS. I'm Justin, your history faculty. History optional, you know that is a good choice. One of the major reason is overlapping with the GS syllabus. 85% of your history optional you need to study for your prelims preparation and your mains GS preparation apart from optional. So that is the biggest advantage. Ancient India, medieval India, modern India, all these things, art and culture, you have to study for your prelims and your mains, even if you are not taking history optional. That is the advantage. So here, in the prelims, in mains GS and your optional, certain things are very crucial from history point of view. In prelims, history terms are being frequently asked by UPSC. If you check the last 10 years questions, terminology related questions, terms related questions are the similar way. Coming to GS1, instead of having vague explanations to certain circumstances or in order to explain certain events in the history, often many aspirants use some unclear, unwanted explanations that will kill your time, that will kill your perfection of or maybe that essence of your answer. Instead of that, you could have used some important key terms. So that exact terms, keywords will help you to score well in your mains answer writing also, and they are very essential when it comes to history optional answer writing. Now here some terms I share with you. This will help in your prelims, GS preparation and your optional preparation in mains. Yeah, epigraphy is a term you know. Epigraphy means that is the study of the inscriptions. The study of the inscriptions is called epigraphy. Inscriptions, you know, different inscriptions are there. Ashoka issued lots of inscriptions. Samudragupta issued. Kharavela, the Odisha ruler, Kalinga ruler issued. Chola rulers issued. So Vijayanagar rulers issued many inscriptions. Many inscriptions are. Pillar inscriptions are there. Okay, cave inscriptions are there. Okay, copper inscription, copper plate inscriptions are there. So the study of the inscriptions is called epigraphy, and the study of the writing used in the inscriptions. The study of the script, the study of the writing used in the inscriptions is called paleography. Now historiography means, historiography is the study of the writings of history. Is the study of the writings of history. Simply, this is how the historians come to understand the written records of past. Okay, that branch of scientific study of history or scientific study of these writings of the history is called the historiography. We will study in detail later. Now, coming to the next module, second module, three terms: prehistoric, protohistoric, historic ages. Prehistoric means that is cave dwellers, hunters, food gatherers, people living in the forest, in the mountain ranges, in the hills, caves, etc. That is, no written records are available. No written records are available. Based on the archaeological evidences, we construct the history of that age. Okay. Protohistoric is the transition phase between prehistoric and historic. That transition phase, the age between prehistoric and historic age, that is called protohistoric. Some historians say IVC is a protohistoric civilization. That means this civilization is placed between prehistoric to historic, and this civilization, the writing is not deciphered. They have no idea about that particular standard form of writing, but other civilizations already have written records, or they have already mentioned about this civilization in the written records. That is something called a proto-historic. But Indus civilization had a writing that is called a Boustrophedon, but it is not deciphered it. Anyway, proto-historic is a transition phase between prehistoric and historic. Now, historic age means where the written records are available. Okay, we construct the information about that age from the written records, literature from the secular and religious literary sources. Boustrophedon is the term connected with the IVC civilization, Indus Valley civilization. Boustrophedon is a style of writing from right to left, left to right on alternate lines. Right to left, okay, sorry, right to left, then left to right. That style of writing is called a Boustrophedon script, and it is not alphabetical, it is not long inscriptions, it is pictographical, using signs and symbols and short inscriptions. Okay, you can see these inscriptions as it is shown in the image. You can see on these Harappan objects or seals and all, you can see this Boustrophedon script. It is not deciphered it. Megalithic, the history of especially the southern peninsula or this South India, an age which is known as the age of massive rock structures. Okay, massive rock stone structures, just like shown in this image. Megalithic, big stone age or big stone structures, the age of the big stone structures, that is megalithic age. I'm not discussing in detail. Mahajanpadas means great kingdoms, 16 great kingdoms. Okay, the small like tribes, or the small like what is called the tribal units, they come together, they form the kingdoms, kingdoms become greater kingdoms. The story of the 16 greater kingdoms, that greater kingdoms were called Mahajanpadas. Okay, Janas, you see, Janpada, Jana, Janpada, Mahajanpadas, greater kingdoms. Coming to Maurya, there is a concept called Megasthenes Indica, Kaudilya's Arthashastra. These are some literary sources which help us to understand the history of Mauryan age. Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, the founder, the historical founder of this Mauryan empire. So Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador to the court of this Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of Mauryan empire, and his observations about Indian society or religion, culture, administration, that is known as Megasthenes Indica. His famous work is Megasthenes Indica. Megasthenes Indica. Many false observations are also there. Kaudilya's Arthashastra is, a great treatise on public administration, is composed by Kaudilya or Chanakya. In post-Maurya, you discuss on 3 schools of art, which is Gandhara, Madura, Amaravati schools of art. Gandhara, Madura, Amaravati schools of art. These are the 3 schools of art. Gandhara, Madura, Amaravati schools of art. Gandhara, this is in the northwest or this western frontier of Punjab. Madura on the banks of Yamuna river, Amaravati on the banks of Krishna river. 3 schools of sculpture developed in the post-Maurya age. You heard about Aryabhatta. In Gupta age, there was a great mathematician come astronomer, which is Aryabhatta, and his famous work is Aryabhattiyam, and that scientifically declares the scientific reason for the occurrence of solar lunar eclipses. That is one thing. Then see, Brahmagupta is again another great mathematician, astronomer, and his famous work is Brahma Supta Siddhanta. And Brahmagupta is the same person who anticipated Newton, declaring that all things gravitate to the earth. Earth has the gravity force. That is, Brahmagupta anticipated Newton, saying earth has the gravity force. Okay, his famous work is Brahma Supta Siddhanta. Then in the early, after Gupta, then comes this post-Gupta, early medieval age. That is, we study 3 schools of temple architecture: Nagara, Dravida, Vaisara styles of temple architecture. Nagara is the North Indian style of temple architecture. Dravida is the South Indian style of temple architecture. Vaisara is Deccani style of temple architecture. That is the hybrid version of Nagara Dravida. That is the fusion of Nagara Dravida. So this series will continue. If you like this, please do subscribe our channel, share with your friends, and watch more series in Gallant IAS YouTube channel. Okay. So wishing all the best for your preparation. Stay tuned. Thank you.